Voters are very, very smart, and they know when there's an elected official that is there for the right reasons. And they also know when there's an elected official that's not there for the right reasons, because people are paying attention.
Hi, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Elder Care Insights podcast by Welcome Back Home Care. I'm your host, Lee Berkowitz, and we're honored to have Marty Kiar here, who is the Broward County Property Appraiser. And Marty, welcome to the podcast. It's an honor to have you, and we want to talk a little bit about how we protect the elderly, how we protect the senior citizens. So welcome, Marty.
Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate so much you having me on, and thank you for the great work you do, helping our senior community and, of course, helping our most vulnerable population. I'm very, very thrilled that you gave me the opportunity to speak with you today. So thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. And so I want to know a little bit of background. I guess the audience would like to know, how did you become the Broward County Property Appraiser? That's a lot of hard work and very ambitious work as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much, Lee, and that's such a great question. For me, I've lived in Broward County my entire life, and I love our place. I always tell people I was born here, and one day I'll be resting peacefully here. And for my purpose, my dad is my hero in this world, and he was actually the mayor of the town of Davie and a council member for a long time. And one day I graduated from Western High School. Then I went to a small school called Palm Beach Atlantic University for college. I went to law school at Nova Southeastern. And after I graduated from law school, I started practicing law. And I would actually do a lot of real estate law. But one day I was jogging around the town of Davie on what are called bike paths. And when my dad was the mayor of Davie, he actually put those bike paths in. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually running on something that my dad did. And I would see people pushing strollers there and enjoying them as well. And then I saw all other things as you're running that my dad was able to get done. And I thought to myself, like, you know what? I want to run for office. I want to make a difference like my dad. And so this is a long time ago, it'll be back in 2004. And there was an open state House of Representatives seat. And I decided to run for it. And all I did for about 2 years was bang on as many doors as I possibly could. I met so many people. And then I actually lost the election in a Democratic primary by a very close vote. And then the person that beat me in the primary lost to the Republican that was their nominee. And so 2 years later, I decided to do it again. And all I did for 2 years, just bang on every door I possibly could. And fortunately, in 2006, the people of District 97 at the time, which was basically Western Broward County, they elected me to serve in the Florida House of Representatives. And when I got there, I focused on education issues, but lots of local government issues. And I still practiced law. And I would still do real estate law and things of that nature. Then in 2012, I ran for a Broward County Commission seat because I wanted to serve closer to home because I love local government. That's what my dad served in. And I always think local government's the best way to make the biggest difference because you're closest to the people. And so I got in there. There was about 5 or 6 people in the race. And fortunately, at the end of the day, I was the last person standing. I was able to win that election. And I became a county commissioner, which was very similar in district to my state house seat. I then became the mayor of Broward County. And right about 2016, a mentor and a very, very dear friend of mine, Lori Parrish, who was the Broward County Property Appraiser. And she came to me and she said, Marty, you practice real estate law. You've been very, very involved, with regard to the issues that we have in our office. And I'm retiring, and I would love to see if you would consider running countywide for property appraiser. And we have to understand the county is enormous. There's more people here than 13 states. It's very big. And we have more voters than many states. And when you run countywide in Broward County, you're basically running a campaign like you're running in a state. It is huge. And so running in a county is very big. And, I thought about it. And I basically said to Lori, well, Lori, I would love, to run countywide as property appraiser, but I got to talk to my wife about it and my family because I know this is going to be a very, very difficult undertaking. And I went home. And I spoke to my wife, Kelly, who said, Marty, I support you 1,000,000,000%. And I decided to do it. And for a couple years, I banged on as many doors as you possibly could, met as many people as you possibly could. And fortunately, I was elected in 2016. I was also reelected in 2020. And of course, I'll be back on the ballot again this year. What I have to tell you is what I've learned about being property appraiser is I think it's the greatest elected job alive. Because you basically do constituent services all day, every day. And here's the big difference between everything else I served in. I loved everything. I mean, I loved serving in the legislature. You got to debate education and healthcare. You got to try to make the state better. But when you're so far away from the people, you don't always get to meet the people you're helping. When I served on the county commission or as the mayor of Broward County, you got to make the port better and the airport better. You got to try to make Broward County very strong economically statewide, but you're still very far away from the people. Property appraiser is the greatest job alive because you are right there with the people. Every single day you help people with their property, seniors and veterans. You get to do a job that really helps you make a big difference. And when I think about why I love this job so much, it's the job that is closest to what my dad inspired me to do many, many years ago, because it's one that really lets you help people. I love it. That is my long-winded answer. And just to let you know, I have a very beautiful wife named Kelly. We have 2 daughters. They are 14 and 11, and I have 3 cats.
Well, I like the answer a lot because it was actually very succinct, and you followed it back to the original, which was your father had a major impact on you, and you were able to jog on the path and really feel that impact. And
Yeah.
I love these interviews because I have to touch on something I personally love and enjoy, and that's volunteering with the
Oh, yes.
Beachkeepers Inc. And they're a great charity founded in Delray Beach, Florida. We've basically restored areas where there's a local intracoastal area, marina district, lots of plant, animal
Wow.
life, sea life, so on and so forth. And at one point, maybe about 6 years ago, I was upset with what was going on near the boats. And I'm talking in a coffee shop. About a week later, I meet this great charity. Fast forward to now, that there's Delray Beach is such a beautiful town, and it's been restored. And I just enjoy uh, being able to see the reward and the fruits of my labor and things
Yeah.
that we've. That's where the metaphor is. When I walk on that path that I cleaned, I mean, it's just so amazing because everything feels so good, and you know that you've made an impact.
Oh,
So that's just my something I like to do. Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, and so your father's had a major impact on you. Um,
Yes.
this is so cool because this is something that is very difficult to aspire to, right? A mayor. Your father was
Oh,
the mayor of Davie. You said correct?
he was.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. He was, and he's actually my hero in this world. And by the way, thank you, Lee, for your volunteer work and what you do. I think that's pretty awesome. Our environment, as you know, is so, so very important. Not only is it very, very important to preserve it, but it's also one of our biggest economic engines. And so thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
it's great
And my
exercise too.
it's true. My dad, he definitely is my hero. He's actually a senior now. He lives in Davie. He
Mm,
actually is. He's 80 years old, and I'm very proud of him. And I don't mean to keep talking about him, but my dad actually grew up in the Bronx in New York. He was very,
okay.
very poor, and didn't have a whole lot of opportunities that other people had. But he wanted to always make something of himself. And so he put himself through college and through law school, moved down here, became a successful attorney, was able to serve in public office and help people. And I always tell people, me personally, I'm not conceited by any means. But when it comes to my dad, I think he walks on water. He's just the greatest. So thank you, Lee.
Amazing, and thank you for bringing that up. That can really drive somebody. I have the similar story with my father in New York in the projects, and things were very difficult, and just hard work ethic. If that can be transpired and taught generationally, I mean, we really have something here to really try to hope that we can teach the future generations. So thanks again. Now
Oh, thank you.
you're super passionate about this. I mean, you're uh, a lot of stuff is cumulative. So I don't know currently like how your dad's doing. He's 80 years old, but you're passionate. We're all getting older. That's
Yes.
undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
So you do some things to help stay in shape. I've seen on LinkedIn, do you do some charity runs and
I do.
lifting in the gym? I mean, this is all good stuff that
Oh,
every doctor will tell you it's good to lift weights.
Oh, thank you, Lee. I love working out. So, for me, working out and fitness is not just a release, but as you know, as you get a little bit older, it is so good for you to keep on doing it. And so, for myself, when I was younger, let's say in my 20s, all I really wanted to do was lift to get hugely as muscular as possible. Now I lift and I do cardio to stay fit. because when you're fit, that's just good for your body. And so I love working out every day. I lift weights and I love Peloton. I do that all the time, and I love to run. I've done about 4 marathons now. My last one was actually the New York City Marathon in 2019, and I loved it. I'm thinking about doing another one. And what I always do is I love doing 5Ks, especially for charity and
Yeah,
things
I
of that
saw the
nature. So
Sistrunk 5K recently. That was
that's the
awesome.
best.
I'd love to
Oh,
go
thank
next time.
you should. That is my favorite run in Broward County when it comes to 5Ks. And there's so many good ones, but I just love that one because it does a few things. One, it's at a great time of the year. The people are wonderful. It showcases one of Broward County's most historical streets, Sistrunk Boulevard. It is just a fantastic run. And to give you an idea how cool it is, the first time I ran it, there was a guy that showed up in a full tuxedo with the shoes and everything. And he goes, Marty, I'm going to win this thing. I go, dude, you're in a full tuxedo with the shoes. No way. That was the fastest guy I've seen. So if you can just picture a guy just hauling in a tuxedo with the shoes, and he actually won. He beat the plantation track team. Everybody, that's how fun and cool that race is. You should definitely do it next year. It's pretty great, Lee.
Awesome, awesome. So we spoke a little bit about your background. You're you're a attorney at law,
Yes,
Florida bar certified
yes,
attorney. Is that all right? And
I am.
you practice the real estate. And how do you apply this? Are you using some of your skills that you've attained into maybe helping the city make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe in our documentations and just overall keeping people safe?
Yes. So I will say this for me, I'm so glad that I went to law school and became a lawyer before I got elected to office. Because I found that the skills I learned as a lawyer really helped me be a better elected official. When you become a lawyer, you have to apply the laws that are out there, and you have to argue and advocate for people based on what the law is. And so when I got elected to the legislature, your job is to create law and amend law and change laws and make things better. And so taking the skills that I had as a lawyer to the legislature just really helped me a lot when it came to trying to craft laws and making things better and, working through court decisions to fix and tweak things. And then when I got elected to the county commission, at that time I was still practicing law as well. And, being able to utilize those skills in the county commission was very, very helpful, especially when you're creating ordinances and looking through budgets. It was very, very good. And now as property appraiser, I don't practice law, even though I still have my bar license. I'd be pretty much, really can't, I would be pretty much conflicted out
Bit of
of
a
representing anybody in
conflict.
Broward County. But being able to still be a lawyer has been very helpful because, one, we have to apply as property appraiser the laws that are out there. And so understanding the legal perspective and how to do different things is very helpful, especially if something's great and you want to help somebody. And if you're not prohibited from doing it, to be able to be a lawyer, you can actually figure out ways legally to be able to help people, even if the Florida statutes or case law don't specifically say you can do something a certain way.
Hmm.
Also, in our office, we have lawyers as well that are my general counsel. And I've always found it to be very, very helpful because, of course, we have a lot of lawsuits, things of that nature. And so it's been helpful in being able to work with them and to help assist them at times when we have some very complicated legal matters. So to be able to at least being another lawyer to be able to where they can just where we can work with each other to try to have the best defense or argument.
Sure, sure. And I bet you those are very valuable and
Mhm.
time-consuming conversations, to say the least.
It,
Um,
it
and
and I'm sorry, Lee.
I
I do.
was just
I
gonna
do.
piggyback without getting into the weeds too much. Let's steer this thing and talk about some of those lawsuits and
Of course.
directed more towards what are some of the things that you help. I'm sure that there's some either maybe not civil, maybe even punitive things that happen in the seniors. What to seniors with this exploitations? I
Oh
heard
yes.
in this that the great Parkland Chamber event that you
Mhm.
spoke about something that happened to a senior about their
Oh
their
yes.
identity was pretty much
Mhm.
stolen.
Oh
I
yes.
mean this,
So
yeah,
oh, it's
please.
true. And Lee, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. And, I was going to say too, the other great thing for me about being a lawyer and being in elected office is, I became a lawyer. I was following my dad's footsteps because if you're a lawyer, you're given the opportunity to be a voice for somebody else that needs it. And it's a way of actually really helping people. And so if you take that kind of desire to help people into public office, it goes a very, very long way because that's really what public service should be about. And when it comes to seniors, Broward County is a massive place. We have about 2 million people that live here, and about a quarter of our population are seniors. And unfortunately, the most impoverished portion of our population, on average, from my understanding, are seniors. And very unfortunately, the most frauded, picked on group of people in Broward County are seniors because unfortunately, they're our most vulnerable. And so there are a lot of things that our office does to try to work with our senior community to help them. One thing that has nothing to do with fraud is we provide tax saving exemptions, basically ways you can save money in your property taxes. And one exemption I just love to talk about is called the low income senior exemption. It basically means if somebody is over 65 years of age, they made under about $37,000 last year, they can actually get a pretty valuable exemption that can save them a significant amount of money in their property taxes. So there are things that we do that for seniors. We constantly go to areas where seniors are, whether it's the big condos, we have homebound visits that they can't get out. But the other thing that we do is we try to help protect them from fraud. And unfortunately, South Florida is the title fraud capital of the world. It's the capital of the world because you have criminals, and that's what they are. And what they do is they walk into recording divisions every single day. They file fake deeds on people's properties, and they take those deeds and they extort people for money or mortgage rent or sell the property. They do it all the time. And the reason it's so easy for them is the recording division for every county has a ministerial duty. They have to accept whatever documents filed with them. So you have these criminals, they walk in, they file a fake deed, and they do something nefarious with it, and they really, really, really try to hurt our seniors. They do it to them all the time. They're the biggest group that is targeted by these people. And so in our office, there are a number of ways that we can help seniors. One thing is we have a great program in our office called OwnerAlert. It's basically a notification program to let people know if there's been a title change in their property. We actually created this in-house 2 years ago. We've had 231,000 Broward property owners sign up so far. Many are seniors, and they can get alerted in one of three ways. One, they can get an email alert if they want to get it through email, which is a very quick way. They can get a text message, and there also are seniors and other people that may not want to get an email or a text message. They can get a hard copy in the mail. And the other thing that we do is there are many seniors who want to designate a family member or somebody to get their alert. So if those seniors designate somebody, then we can actually allow, for example, their son or their daughter to get their alerts to protect them. The other thing that we have in our office, thank you so much. Sorry, I don't mean to keep going
No,
on.
I grew up in Broward County, but I'm not a current resident, but I'm learning so much right now. I am a business owner in Broward. Our office is in the walk-in Coral Springs, but I'm gonna do a call for clarity after and make sure that the audience knows all of the things that you just said, and make sure we find out exactly where to find out how to get some of these tax relief or property tax relief credits, and so on and so forth. So please, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, the best way to do it, Lee, and I'm so glad you brought that up. Anybody, if they go on our website at bcpa.net, basically BrowardCountyPropertyAppraiser.net, or if they just want to type in Marty and Broward, it'll come up. They go on there, they click on exemptions, and they can see every exemption that is available. And if there are ones that they are qualified for, but they're not getting, they can easily sign up right there online, or they can call our office. We can even go to them. We also have a lot of events throughout the county. We actually take our office to the public all the time. We'll go to about 1,000 events this year. Some are standing events. If anybody goes on our calendar, they can see where we are and sit down with our staff, and they'll sign them up for exemptions. And also, if they go on our website, they can actually easily sign up for OwnerAlert. That's the protection program where they just type in some information to prove it's them, and then they can get an email, text message, or an alert by mail. And the other thing that we do as well is in Broward County, we wanted to kind of take protecting seniors and the public to another level when it comes to helping people protect them from themselves from title fraud. And so what I did about 2 years ago, after I instituted our OwnerAlert program, I started getting calls from people and seniors basically saying, Marty, somebody filed a fake deed on my property, but I didn't do it. And then I got more and more and more. And I realized how big of a deal it was. So I came up with an idea where I wanted to work with law enforcement, build criminal cases, and put the people in jail who are doing this. And so I called the Department of Revenue and I go, Department of Revenue, this is what I want to do. And I gave them a lot of heartburn. And they go, Marty, you're a property appraiser. You determine the value of property and give exemptions. You're not law enforcement, but we understand this is a big deal for South Florida. So we'll make you the guinea pig for the rest of the state. And they did. And so then I went to the county commission and I said to the county commission, listen, the Department of Revenue just approved a new program in my office. Would you fund it? And they said, absolutely. I then went to the sheriff of Broward County and I said, Sheriff, the county's funding my new crimes against property team, but I'm not law enforcement. Can we work together? He said, absolutely. And he actually assigned 2 sheriff's detectives to work with our office, to be housed in our office. And then I went to the state attorney who's responsible for prosecuting the bad people. And I go, Harold, the sheriff and I, we're working together. If we bring you cases that are prosecutorial, would you prosecute the people that are doing this? He goes, absolutely. And he assigned an assistant state attorney to work with us. And over the past year, we've had, more than 30 arrests. We've had a number of convictions, dozens of open warrants. We've been able to stop the fraudulent sale of millions of dollars worth of property. And we've been able to work with the court system to get property back to people in a much more expeditious and cost-efficient manner. And something that I've noticed is many of the cases that we have involve seniors because they're the ones that were targeted the most. And so my goal is to put all these people in jail that try to target our people, especially our seniors and our vulnerable population.
Yeah. And I think of, it was a lot of anti-bullying campaigns going on in the past. Maybe they're not so prevalent anymore, but I think of bullying. And that is exactly how I think about this when you're exploiting the most vulnerable. This is, and I try to stay positive and everything, but, we're passionate people. And I'm glad that you're doing that and setting up these great safeguards to make sure that these bullies don't win.
Absolutely. They should all be in jail because if you think about this, everybody's most important asset generally is their home. I know for me, that's my biggest and most important asset. And when you're a senior struggling to make ends meet and somebody tries to steal your home, that is just disgraceful. And here's the thing, when you're a struggling senior, especially if you're a low-income senior and somebody steals your home, clouds your title, takes mortgage on it, you have to fix that. And it's going to cost you a lot of money in attorney's fees you may not have to try to fix it. And so my goal is, like I said, to put all these people in jail that target the people of Broward County and especially our seniors. And if you like, I can give you a couple examples that were seniors were the ones that were targeted just to let people know, the extent that these criminals will go through to try to steal people's properties.
Yeah. We want to know. We want to be prepared with the education so we know this doesn't happen to my mom.
Absolutely. Well, a first story happened with people who wanted to use the court system to steal people's properties. And a few of those properties were seniors' properties. And so you had the bad person. And what they would do is they found a senior and they would say, you know what? They would file a lawsuit in circuit court saying this senior no longer wants their property. And then the return of service would go to the guy's buddy who is in a mobile home in Hillsborough County. He would say, oh yeah, that senior doesn't want the property anymore. Put in this other guy's name. They stole a number of properties that we found. They tried to take mortgages on the properties, rent the properties, sell the properties from these seniors. And fortunately, they were arrested and I believe will be held accountable for their crimes. Another one happened with a person not from Broward County, but from Miami-Dade County. And he somehow found that there was a senior that was bedridden and very, very sick. And he hasn't yet been convicted, but I think he will be. And he found that this senior owned a parcel in Southwest Ranches, one of our cities. And he decided he wanted to steal that parcel and take a mortgage on the property. So what he did was he made a fake corporation with Tallahassee. He made the officer and director the sick senior. He then filed a fake deed saying that the corporation owned the property. He then made a fake ID saying he was that man. And he then walked into a small business in the city of Sunrise and said, you know what, I've fallen on some hard times, made some bad financial decisions, but I have this one thing, a parcel in Southwest Ranches that's free and clear of a mortgage. I'd please have a $500,000 mortgage. And they said, sure, we'll give it to you. And so here's where they really should have realized something fishy was going on. The closing for a parcel in Southwest Ranches for $500,000 took place at a Burger King in Hialeah. So they go to the Burger King in Hialeah, and you have the bad guy trying to get the money. You have the mortgage company about to be out a lot of money. You had the poor senior who was sick, who was about to be fraud out of his property and his title clouded with another mortgage. And you had the smartest person in the room, the notary. And the notary is looking at this thinking this is very bizarre. So she asked for the guy's thumbprint, which he gave. She then provided to our office. We contacted the Town of Davie Police Department because they police Southwest Ranches and the U.S. Secret Service because they handle a lot of the identity theft cases in America. Fortunately, the man was arrested Unfortunately, he was given the full $500,000 mortgage. We've recovered the rest. I can give you one more example of just many, many that we have.
Wow.
My guiding light is a man that lived off Sistrunk Boulevard. I believe it's Sistrunk, and his name was Mr. Felter. And he was a 94-year-old man confined to a wheelchair. And Mr. Felter lived alone. He's since passed on, but he lived alone. And one day he was in his room and he was watching TV and he heard noises out in his family room, in his living room. And he gets into his wheelchair and he wheeled himself out to the family room and he saw a realtor there with people in the house trying to sell his property because somebody had filed a fake deed pretending they owned it and they were trying to sell it out from under him. Those are the people that these criminals pick on. And my goal and my hope is that every senior out there that owns a property signs up for our Owner Alert program. I think it's your first line of defense. And my other reason I like to talk about this, I want everybody out there in the world to know that if they want to steal somebody's home in Broward County, especially a senior's home or a vulnerable person's home, they are not welcome here, and we're going to put them in jail for a long time. And so those are my few examples that I want to just quickly bring up.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lee.
yeah, good proactive advice there is to sign up for this great system that you have to just say, hey, if there's any sort of title, any sort of change on the title, we're going to get a text. I mean, that's a very innocuous type of thing, but it's very hard hitting when you would say,
Yes.
well, I didn't do this. My daughter didn't do this. My husband did it, whoever, and it's just,
Absolutely.
it's a very powerful tool. So thanks for
It
that.
is.
So you
Oh,
mentioned a little
thank
bit
you.
about my pleasure. You do some home visits for some people that may
Mhm.
be a little bit very vulnerable and need
Yes.
need a helping hand or some resources. Or
Yes.
so, can you tell us a
We
little bit
do.
about that?
Of course, we have homebound visits. Here's what we do. So, our main office is in downtown Fort Lauderdale. That's our office. And as you know, it's not easy for the Broward County public to get to our downtown Fort Lauderdale office on a Monday to Friday from basically 8 to 5. It's just very difficult. So we have what's called our mobile exemption and education team. It's basically our outreach team. And what they do is they're basically our mobile office. They go throughout the county every single day and they sign people up for exemptions. They help them with their property. They sign them up for Owner Alert and they provide the services that we provide in our office out in the community. And so some things that they'll do is they'll have standing events. For example, at all the big senior condos, they'll be there at least once or twice a month. People know exactly when they're coming and they go and they sit down with them and they sign them up for exemptions. There are also, if people go on our website, they can see everywhere they're going to be throughout the year or throughout the month, and they can just go to there. We'll go to about 1,000
Wow.
events a month. The other thing that they do is what's called homebound visits. There are some seniors that may not be able to make it downtown. They may not be able to go online where you can file that way. They may not be able to go to any of our events. So we'll actually go to their home. They can make an appointment. We'll go to their home. They'll sit down with them and they'll sign them up for homestead exemption, for senior exemptions, for widows exemptions. They'll help them with their property for Owner Alert. So it makes it very, very easy
Hmm.
for them.
Amazing. Wow. The mind is starting to go, and I'm wondering because I do a lot of home visits for a
Mhm.
consultation assessment, and
Yeah.
oftentimes they don't need to use our services, or they choose not to use a private caregiver. But I also recommend other things that maybe Medicare provides, such as physical therapy or recommendations around the house for durable medical equipment, so on and so forth. So we're always
Yes.
trying to check and see what are some of those things that we can help provide those resources. So I definitely see that
Okay.
similarities. Is this a can the Palm Beach property appraiser like take on some of these ideas, because this is very
Sure.
interactive with the community. You're basically very transparent. Your office saying, "Hey,
You.
we're right here. This is what we're doing. Just look on the
Thank you.
website, folks."
That I really appreciate that, Lee. So the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser is fantastic. Her name is Dorothy Jacks, and she's a very good friend. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Dorothy, I, and Pedro Garcia, the Miami-Dade Property Appraiser, are getting together in Miami. Well, we try to get together, all three of us, once a year, and we work together on issues. And South Florida is so large that when you put Broward, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach County together, we can make a big impact for the rest of the state on really good things for people. And I do know in Palm Beach County, Dorothy's very, very proactive. She really tries to get out there as well. And I think that her office, truthfully, is one of the most transparent offices especially when it's to helping seniors.
Mhm.
And so we actually will bounce ideas off one another. And some of the things that I do in our office are ideas that Dorothy gave me, and some of the things that she does are ideas that I gave her. And so it's actually really, really a fantastic thing. But you actually have a wonderful property appraiser in Dorothy Jacks. I'm a big fan, and I think she does a great job.
Thank you. I love the collaboration. It seems super beneficial to have a meeting
Thank
of the minds, not only just to
Yes,
build that culture, also among property appraisers. I mean,
it
kudos,
is.
kudos on you guys working together. I've never met Dorothy, and I have no, nothing in that. I think that even for me, it's good to navigate some of those services and to understand what are some of the services that the property appraiser can offer and what type of resources,
Mhm.
you know?
You know what it is? There's so much that our offices can do to help the public. Basically, Florida law has given us the opportunity to have a lot of tools at our mechanism to be able to help people, especially when it comes to signing up for tax saving exemptions and things of that nature. There's a lot that we can do. And what we do is constituent services. Basically, it's our job to be able to get out there the best way that we can to provide as much information to the public as we can so we can make sure that the public gets everything they're entitled to. That's why coming on here and you having me on is fantastic. I know this is going to reach people I can't reach on my own. It's awesomely, and that I'm going to get to help people as a result of that. And so when it comes to Dorothy and Palm Beach County, we're always bouncing things off each other about how best to do that. And what I've learned a long time ago, especially as a lawyer, plagiarism is the best form of flattery. So if somebody's doing something really good, I'm going to take it and vice versa. You know what I mean? So,
Yes,
which is
yes.
really good.
So when
Yeah.
is does the Palm Beach County and Broward County and Dade County, can you tell us when is the election cycle? Or I know they're,
So
yeah.
of course. So everybody is on the ballot at the same time. So we're what's called constitutional officers. Broward County, for example, has the sheriff who's a constitutional officer, myself, the supervisor of elections. We're going to have a tax collector on the ballot this year, and we have a clerk of court and some others. And Palm Beach County has the same thing, and so does Miami-Dade. And so we're all on the ballot at the same time. There could be one of two elections. There could be, Dorothy and I are Democrats. So we could have a Democratic primary. And then after that, we could have a general election if somebody else files, if another party files. So you can have one or two elections. And in Palm Beach County, or in Miami-Dade County, Pedro Garcia is not running for reelection. And so they'll have a Democratic primary, a Republican primary, and then also a general election. So those elections are in August and November.
Okay.
So we're on the generally on the presidential election ballot, which is very, very cool. And I'll tell you this, when you're on the presidential election ballot in a place as big as Broward or Palm Beach County or Miami-Dade County, it's like being on the ballot for a state. And everybody's voting because it's a presidential election year. And then you see the amount of people that think enough of you to basically pull the lever for you. It's very humbling and just a really just you feel so grateful, that people think enough for you to give them their vote, which honestly I think is one of the most special things somebody can give to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. And of course you have to be a Broward County resident to vote for Marty.
Yes,
And that's
yes,
going to be in November, the election. And of course, always encouraged to get out and vote. That's
yes.
always the message. Um,
It is. It is. And you know what, Leah? What I always tell everybody is voting in elections is one of the most important things. And the reason being is I know, it's easy to go out and vote when it's just for president. But what's so important, and this is what I think most people believe, is voting in every election is important. Because I can tell you this, whoever sits in a local seat, whoever's your mayor or your school board member, they have a very, very big impact on you and your life, sometimes even more than whoever sits in the White House because they're right there with the people. They're the ones making the decisions as to when your garbage should be picked up, if your pothole is going to be fixed, what kind of education your kids are going to get. I mean, it's a very big deal. So I always tell everybody vote in everything, regardless if you vote for it, just vote because that's what makes our country fantastic. Our country is set up in a way that the power's in the hands of the people. And if we like the way things are going, we can just keep it the way it is. If we don't, if we're upset with it, we can change course and put new people in there. And that's why it is so important that people exercise that right because it's something we are very blessed to have as Americans.
Yeah, and politics is local in nature.
Mhm.
So I would feel more comfortable voting for somebody who I knew grew up in the town, not I'm giving it we're non-political with welcome back, but if that's an endorsement there, I think that
Thank you.
it's important, you have an impact, you have a say, and the people around you, whether it's the mayor or commissioners, so on and so forth, get to know them,
Yes.
right? Is that a good advice? Like, you're very
Yeah.
approachable. You were very responsive to
Oh,
the email I had requested. You were very cordial when we had our conversation, but you gave us all the time in the world to just ask a lot of questions. So
thank
for
you,
I
Lee.
think that's a good model to kind of try to have that human touch. And I know it's very difficult in politics. Like
We,
I say, for the perception,
I,
I'm dealing with the same stigma in healthcare.
yes, and I appreciate that so much, Lee. My view is this. I don't mean to keep going back to my dad, but I watched my dad as an elected official when I was a kid, and all he cared about was the people. He wanted to make people happy. He wanted to try to figure out how to make things better. And he explained to me something a long time ago that I thought was some of the best advice. He basically said, he goes, Marty, this is when I got elected to the Florida House. He goes, you're only going to be able to serve in the Florida House of Representatives for a limited amount of time. One day you're not going to be there anymore. And you really just want to look back to be able to say, look at all the good I did and the people that I helped, because that's really what makes you successful. And when somebody thinks enough of you to give them your vote and they elect you to a position, they're basically my bosses. The 2 million people of Broward County, those are my bosses. They're the ones that allow me to serve here, and I serve them. And, one day, I'm not going to be in an elected office anymore. One day I don't know, but I want to be able to look back and say, look at all the people I was able to help. I was able to make people's lives better. I think that is really, what you want for all elected officials, people that are there solely to make a difference and to help people. And I just feel very blessed that the people of Broward County allow me to do this.
Yes, thank you very much. We're all kind of our own judge of character. What can we do? We're just kind of we're analyzing things. We're wondering, all the time, who can we trust? What's real? What's not real?
Yes.
How to kind of just figure out what's the noise and what's the signal. What are some of the things that we're supposed to do, or who
Mm.
should we listen to? Where there's a lot of I think a lot of uncertainty with public polling would say in our own government. How do
Yes.
you think? I mean, on a local level, first of all, I know it's an election cycle for you, but do you have national aspirations? And also, what do you think we can do to kind of change that public perception?
That's such a great question. So for myself, I love being property appraiser. I think this is the greatest job alive. And truthfully, there was some time when I was younger. If there were, other seats that had come open that were maybe in Congress or something of that nature, I would have run for it in a heartbeat. But now I love this job so much because I've never had any job in elected office or non-elected office that has allowed me to make this much of a difference and to help people. This is, I think, the best elected job ever because you really are just doing constituent services and it feels so good. I love it. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're done talking, I'm going to walk out to our where our customer service folks are, and there's going to be people in there that we're helping, and I'm going to talk with them, and I'm going to sign people up for senior exemptions and help veterans. I mean, it is just the best job ever. So I would love to do this as long as the people of Broward County allow me to. But I think this, what I've noticed is voters are very, very smart, and they know when there's an elected official that is there for the right reasons, and they also know when there's an elected official that's not there for the right reasons because people are paying attention. And what I like is, especially if somebody's in office, they all have records. And if you look and see whether that person's in Congress or in the US Senate or whatever it is, or in their local elected office, what I think is great is when somebody has a record and they've been there, you can look and see what they've accomplished, what they've done. And when you go through that, you can actually see, okay, this person has really, really worked hard to make a difference. And this is what they've done. And you can also see if they haven't, and so that's something that people can judge on. The other thing too, if people are local elected officials, they're going to be in your community. You're going to meet them at chamber events, at Democratic or Republican Party events, whatever party you belong to. You're going to meet them at Rotary clubs. And I think when people meet somebody, they're very good judges of character, and they can realize pretty quickly, who are the people that we want to serve us, that are there for the right reasons, and who are people that aren't. But what I also like to tell everybody is when you go and vote, you can go right on your supervisor of elections website beforehand, and you can get a sample ballot, and you can see every single election on your ballot from president down to all the judges. And what's really fantastic, it actually gives everybody the opportunity to research each candidate. You can go it online. You can ask your friends about it. You can ask your people you trust about it. You can talk about each candidate, and you can really figure out pretty well who would serve you very, very good. And I like to bring that up, especially for judges, because judges are, they make their jobs are very important. When somebody is a judge, they are making sometimes a life and death decision for a person in that courtroom, whether they're the defendant or if in a civil case, they're there making very tough decisions. They're trying to decide whether or not parents should have a parental rights of a child. I mean, there's a lot of things they have to make a
Guardianship.
decision. It is, and so I always tell everybody, especially when it comes to judges too, really do your research, find out who you are, who is running for these positions, because you want to make sure that only the best people with the best hearts, with the best intentions, get elected to those jobs in every elected job. And that's something that can easily be done by just going on your supervisor of elections website, looking at a sample ballot and doing some research. You can make some very good decisions very quickly.
Hmm. Yeah, and actually, we have a lot of time to make the decisions. There's November is a little bit of time away, so really
It
we
is.
can kind of dissect the person running and really go as far back as we want to. Um,
Absolutely.
so, what exactly, as far as property appraiser, yeah, there's a D in front of your name, but
Mhm.
I don't want that to, hold people back, who,
Of
I mean,
course.
are Republicans.
Mhm.
So what really, I know you're required and it's best interest, to go with a party, as because people, would probably gravitate that way. And you have a lot of benefits for aligning yourself that way. But in a property appraiser position, how
Mhm.
does that actually really affect what's going on, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat?
It's such a good question. So personally, of course, I'm a lifetime Democrat. It's what I've always been. And Florida law requires you in certain positions to run as either basically a Democrat or Republican. And so all the constitutional officers, myself included, property appraiser, sheriff, we all have to run as a Democrat or Republican. You could be nonpartisan, run a no party affiliation and run as well. So you have to have that next to your name when you run. But here's the thing, what I always tell people, even though me personally, my personal beliefs, I'm a Democrat. I believe strongly in the Democratic Party. As property appraiser, I don't care if somebody's a Democrat, Republican, independent, not registered to vote. If they live in Broward County or they have property here, I'm their guy, and everybody should be treated the same and fairly, regardless of what your party affiliation is. You know what? I don't think I've ever had any constituent walk into my office and say, Marty, are you a Democrat or Republican? They just want to know, hey, Marty, you're the property appraiser. Can you help me? And I've never said to anybody when they come into my office, are you a Democrat or Republican? That does not matter to me. It basically what matters to me is that this job, you can actually help people. And what I think is very cool about this job, if you do it that way, you can help the most people. And that's how it should be. And one thing that I love is every time I go to Tallahassee, I have to advocate for issues and laws that affect people with regard to things that we do in our office. And I will walk into the most conservative Republican senator's office. They'll love our issue. And then I'll walk into the most liberal Democratic House member's office. They'll love our issue. The issues are very nonpartisan. It's really about just helping people doing constituent services and making sure that everybody, regardless of their party, gets what they deserve. And because that's how it should be. And truthfully, if anybody was elected to any of these offices and they just helped one political party over another, they would be doing a huge for disservice to people of their communities, because when you're elected to these jobs, your job is to help everybody equally across the board. And that's what I think makes these jobs also very special. It's the same for sheriff. Whoever's the sheriff of any county, that person, they don't care if the person they're trying to protect is a Democrat or Republican. They just know they need to protect that person. Same for supervisor of elections. Even though they have to run as Democrat or Republican, when it comes to their job, they want to make it as easy for a Democrat and a Republican to vote. I mean, and that's how it should be, and that's kind of the way that we do it here. So I hope that was my long-winded answer, but I feel very strongly about that. It's a
That
great question.
Thank you. That's a great answer. And, there's the obligation where you're sworn in, your oath of office. They don't
Yes.
mention about, which type of party you're affiliated with when you're sworn in. Is that right?
Yes.
Exactly.
It
So
was
it's
so
it's it's
right.
just it's our duty, as public servants. At times I do feel that many people can be a public servant at different times without being elected, but
Yes.
it sounds to me that it's really about being a good type of a human being, trying your best. You're serving the
Mhm.
people here. Now, tell me a little bit about what type of people help serve you to get to your first elected official office at the House. Who were these
So,
types of people knocking on the doors, and are
oh,
they still with you today?
oh, yeah, such a great question. So, for myself, when I first ran for office, I banged on a ton of doors. And in 2006, when I was first elected, I was running against an incumbent, and I had very, very, very little money I was able to raise, and the incumbent had a humongous amount of money. And so all I could do was grassroots, which is, I think, the most important thing, anyways. And I walked to every single voter's door in 9 cities in that district. It took me 2 years, but I did it. And the other people that were doing it with me was my mom and my dad and close friends at that time. And fortunately, with that work, I was actually able to get elected. But there is a few people that actually came to work with me when I was a Florida House member that have been with me ever since. And so there's one guy who I just love to death. We went to law school together. His name is Scott Barocas. Scott is my government affairs manager here now, but he was my legislative aide when I was in the state house. He was my chief of staff when I was on the county commission as the mayor of the county, and now he's here with me now. But something that
we
I feel,
met. We
but
met. Yeah.
yes, he's the best. But something that I am so grateful for is the people of Broward County have allowed me to serve in elected capacities for almost 20 years now. And what I just love is there's so many people I've gotten to meet and I've gotten to help along the way. And what I really love is when I get to, it's hard to explain, but when you see somebody now that you haven't seen in a long time, but you were able to serve them in different capacities, you just feel so great and so grateful about it. And so, I love our community. I love our county. I'm not sure if that makes sense what I just said, but it is just I guess it's a really neat feeling when people voted for you 20 years ago, but they still vote for you now. To me, it shows that, that the working to try to make a difference and to help people, that the people that supported me before still trust me now. And it's just a wonderful feeling.
It makes perfect sense. I can relate to it, but there's a lot of things that can't be measured. There's no
Yes.
logic. There's no rationale. Like
Mhm.
you've been doing this a long time. The
Mhm.
grassroots thing speaks for itself. Knocking on
Thank you.
doors, that's where we relate in Welcome Back Home Care. I did a lot of meeting caregivers, actually go into the nursing schools and so on and so forth to find our good group of caregivers, a local
That's great.
grassroots effort. Um, but yeah, and some of the caregivers are still with us from that 10 years ago when we started.
That's
So
wonderful.
it makes perfect sense. It's amazing to have such a great team. Also, I mean, your folks,
Thank you.
Scott, he's there. I could tell he's just spot on with.
He's
He's like part time bodyguard too, right? No, I'm kidding. I'm
he,
kidding. I'm kidding.
he
But
He is fantastic. And Lee, you know what? I appreciate what you do. And, something you just said is very, very telling that, there are people that work for you now that were banging on doors with you doing this, years ago when you first started. When people stay with somebody like that, it's because a few things. One, they love their working environment, but also they're making a difference for people. And that's actually a pretty awesome thing. And what you do in your job, you're helping our most vulnerable population. So I very much appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's pretty awesome. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was thinking about that when you said that. So thank you for the work that you do.
Hey, it's our pleasure. It's really an honor and a pleasure, I believe, to serve, and just love to try to even just going out and doing the chamber events. And this podcast is the
Mm.
most fun thing that I've been doing in the 10 years, and we're getting some really amazing people to come on. And so to keep
That's
it
great.
to keep it it's always changing, and to be creative and
Yeah.
try to follow also technology, and to be on the cusp of things, when it does require as well that traditional, I'm going to be in the living room by the dining room table with the pens, to sign the paperwork and to go over every little thing, um,
Yeah.
with them, and to offer all these resources for elder care attorneys. If the power of attorneys are not in place, this is a
Yes.
conversation we're having actually with um, Heidi Friedman from the Friedman Elder. She's going to be on our next guest. So,
That's great.
there's a lot of common ground here where,
Mhm.
it does. It's almost hard to kind of go back and to reminisce, because
Mm.
there's a lot of feelings there. There's a lot that we put out there to make sure that this thing is going to work, and it has to work.
Absolutely. That's great, Lee. That really is. I have a lot of respect for that, and I just appreciate so much. Like you said, the great work that you and the people that work for you do, and I think it's pretty awesome. And you're really good at the podcast thing, by the way. You come across
Thank you.
great. You're so easy to talk to. It's that's actually a skill in and of itself. So I think you found a very, very, very another very good thing that you're very good at. So
Thank you. Thank you. I have a
it's
couple more questions. I
of
know we're
course,
we're almost we're
absolutely,
almost out of time, or
sure,
however, we want to kind of
yeah,
make this about an hour. So
of course,
let me ask you. I always ask this on every podcast. It's kind of a curveball. Um,
sure. I love curveballs.
what is your favorite day ever as a Broward County property appraiser? Your favorite day. Take a moment. I know it's
Sure.
difficult.
So no, it's a
Oh, okay.
great question. So I will say this, my favorite day in the office is January 1st of every single year because that's the date we determine the value of all properties, give exemptions, and help people with their property. That's my public favorite position. But
Beautiful.
my second favorite is Halloween because one thing our office does, it's pretty cool. On Halloween every single year, they do a mega haunted house in our office.
Amazing, amazing. That sounds fun. And that's what culture is all about. Also, like, we have to have a good time and create a culture. Like,
Yes,
you're an
absolutely.
organization, your office, you're the Broward County property appraiser's office. There's real life people in
Mhm.
there, and we're not machines. So
Absolutely.
every once in a while, it's nice to mix it up a little bit and show people, hey, your appreciation. Their families can have a good time. The public can have a good time. So
Absolutely.
that's a very nice, fun thing. Sounds like a really, really great day as the property appraiser.
It is.
So
Oh, thank you, Lee. I really appreciate it. I get very impressed by the amount of work that they put into it. It's pretty awesome. So thank you for that. That was a great question.
yeah. And so my last question, because we're almost at that hour mark, and I'm a very passionate about reading. Can you tell me, is
Yes.
there a current book you either recommend, or is there also, are you an avid
Mm.
reader? Some people like the
I am.
audibles, and some people like to play chess. Everybody's different.
So I'll tell you my favorite books of all time. I'm not sure. So on Netflix, there's a great thing called The Last Kingdom. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that before. It's very interesting. It's about basically King Alfred and the Danes and Vikings. And there's a fantastic author named Bernard Cornwell, and he has a ton of books about the Last Kingdom. And they are, I think, just the best books ever. And so honestly, I've read all, there's about 12 of them. They're pretty long. But I'm actually going through it again right now. So that's currently what I'm reading. But I love those books. For me, I like actually historical fiction, if that makes sense. Basically, books that are based in history, but they have maybe a character that's fictional, but kind of tells the story of history. It's really neat. Those are my favorite types of books.
Amazing. We've done a lot of self improvement, organizational health, Think and Grow Rich type of books.
It's
And
great.
I know that there's that the positive seed planted there, passed down from generation. I mean, it goes back to your family, and for me, I'm getting to know you a little bit, and I am glad to do that for sure, because
Thank you, Liam.
I
Likewise.
can see a lot of future growth, passion, and the sky's the limit because you love what you're doing.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lee. Like I said, I just feel so blessed that the people of Broward County allow me to do this job. I just love it. And so, no, thank you for that.
You're welcome. And thanks for being on the Elder Care Insights podcast. It was a wonderful
Thank
episode
you.
with Marty Kiar, the Broward County Property Appraiser. I'll go ahead and say you should probably consider voting for Marty. I
Thank
don't see any. There's no flaws at this point. Marty's been very honest, upfront, open, and
oh,
you know, you've been doing this for quite some
thank you so
time.
much. Oh, Lee, that is so nice of you to say that. I appreciate that immensely. And you know what, that actually means a whole lot to me. That really does. So thank you.
I'm an honest guy. I can't help myself. Um,
You're great. You
and
definitely
so
are.
again, to protect the seniors, we want to go ahead and contact Marty's office, just Broward County Property Appraiser. Just look up Marty Kiar. He has a great team. You can even reach out to him on LinkedIn, even just send an email through the website. It's very transparent there. So check out Marty, ask him any questions. Is there any signing off last kind of exciting announcements or fun things we want to say before we say goodbye?
Actually, Lee, I just want to thank you so much again for taking the time to let me talk and to talk with me and for the great work that you do. As I said before, my job is fantastic because you get to help so many people, but sometimes the difficulty is reaching everybody. And when good people like yourself give me the opportunity to talk about what our office can do, how we can help the public, it helps me help more people than I could have reached on my own. And so I appreciate that so much. And if anybody is out there and any way I can help them, my email is just martykiar at bcpa.net. That's martykiar at bcpa.net. As Lee said, that you can just go on our website at bcpa.net and click email Marty. You can call me. Anything I can do would be my absolute pleasure to help. And thank you so much again, Lee, for the great work that you do. And I just appreciate so much you taking the time to talk with me today.
You're welcome. And it's Marty Kiar, and just go out and vote in November. You got some time. If you have any questions before you vote, just call him and ask. If you have any questions for us at Welcome Back Home Care, just call us and ask 561-279-6400. And that's all I have to say. This is the Elder Care Insights podcast, a wonderful episode. Find us on Spotify, find us on YouTube, Apple, wherever iTunes are played. Click that bell on LinkedIn. Follow me because we're going to have some really great content coming out real soon. And thanks again, Marty. It's truly an honor. Thanks for those kind words. You're the best. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Lee.